This video today is mainly about the dangers and the warnings on eating street food in Phnom Penh, Cambodia or anywhere in Asia. There's high risks and dangers to Westerners who buy and eat cheap street food that costs $1, $1.50 and think they're getting a bargain. Well, I've just done a short tour of some of the side streets in Phnom Penh, and I've shown you, or show you, how the street food is prepared and where it is and how it comes to be sold. And you're taking a risk and eating any cheap street food at $1, $1.50, $2. You should eat at restaurants that got refrigeration. If it hasn't got refrigeration, then it's not worth eating cheap street food to end up being, not being able to leave the apartment or your hotel room for 2 or 3 days because your toilet and is your best friend for the next 2 to 3 days. So avoid it. And then I've also added, if you're an electrician or know anything about electrical, I've added some extra videos to this video at the end. So this is walking around Phnom Penh city this morning, little side streets. So I got some photos to add to the video. So this is what the video is about, mainly about cheap street food and how it's prepared and where it is. So it's just a warning video for all tourists and Westerners coming to Phnom Penh, Cambodia or anywhere in Asia. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the video, and if you like it, share, subscribe, like, and I'll leave all my comments down below to YouTube and my WhatsApp number. So here we go, about warnings on cheap street food. Then I'm just walking down this little side street, and I warn, my YouTube subscribers and other people coming to Cambodia or Phnom Penh or Asia, don't eat cheap street food. There's no refrigeration and very unhygienic conditions. And then you come across this. These are duck, just in the full day sun, just hanging here. Very, excuse me, very unhygienic conditions, in the full day sun with all the traffic and up against the dirty old fence. And these could be hanging here most of the day in the full day sun. And you eat the cheap street food, and then your toilet is your best friend for the next 2 to 3 days, and you wonder why. This is absolutely terrible. Full day sun. It's really hot this morning, 11 AM in the morning, and they've probably been hanging here all day, or most of the morning, and they'll be hanging here all day. So you can tell by just looking at them. And we're just in a normal street, just a normal street, and they're just hanging just next to the road. I mean, if a Westerner ate these, saw them cheap at street food at night time, and you ate one of these or some of this duck at night time in $1.50 or $2, bread roll with duck and some salad, you'd be very ill the next day or that night. It would be terrible. So I always suggest that you eat at restaurants that have refrigeration. You know, if they haven't got refrigeration, don't eat it. You know, it's not worth eating $1.50, $1, $1.50, $2 cheap street food when it's prepared like this. You know, not nice. And it's just a normal street. And across the road, I'll take you across the road. And across the road, that's the Phnom Penh sewage system flowing. This is about the only part in Phnom Penh that hasn't been covered in. So it's the open sewage for the whole of Phnom Penh that flows into the Mekong River. And you go from this open sewage to the ducts just hanging on the wall. You know? And where I'm standing here, really, you know, terrible smell from the drain here, open sewage, and all that just wafting over to the ducts hanging on the wall. Not very good hygiene. Well, actually there's no hygiene involved. If I come back, you know, 3, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock tonight, they'll probably be still hanging here. Here's some of this duck. I don't know whether the ducks down the street belong to the same people that sell the duck, but they're behind glass, no refrigeration, and the heat behind that glass will be extreme, and you have all this duck and pork, and then you have all the pig snouts, which are chopped up and put into the cheap bread rolls, and add a bit of salad, and they, you know, charge you $1, and you think you're getting cheap street food, but it's really just the intestines of the pig, or the pig snout chopped up, and no refrigeration. And it could have been here, sitting here since yesterday, and could be here again tomorrow. So just hanging in the full day sun behind thick glass, very unhygienic conditions, and you know, eating cheap street food is not worth the risk. The owner's given me permission to film this here, so I'm actually behind the counter, and the glass is in front, glass on the side, and they're all that pig intestines and snouts and everything. So they just chop them all up, put them into a pork roll for $1. They add a few green vegetables to the bread roll. And that's what you get for $1, $1.50. If you think it's a good value, well, good luck to you. Then I've just come into this little side street here, and you see fish, just fresh fish, just cut up and sitting in the sun. Well, there's no sun at the moment, it's a bit shaded, but the sun will be around here in about an hour. But this has probably been sitting in the middle of the street, you know, since, you know, early this morning, and it's almost 11 a.m. in the morning, so it just sits outside. And tonight or tomorrow or the next day, forever how long it takes to sell it all, they never throw anything away. It's just cooked up and put in cheap street food. You know, and a bread roll, which would cost about 10 cents. Add a bit of lettuce and a bit of green stuff, chili, and the older the pork or the duck or the fish or the chicken, the older it is and the more smelly it is. They just add MSG and flavour enhancers and other chemicals to cut down the smell and, you know, make it look fresh again when it could be, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days old. And this is what you're eating in your cheap street food. So, no, I can only give advice and show you where, you know, cheap street food is prepared out on the poverty villages and the little side streets around Cambodia, Phnom Penh. So, you know, you yourself would never leave filleted fish just out on the street. So why would you come here and eat it? So you can see the unhygienic conditions here. Not good. Now this looks good with the pineapples selling like this for between 2,000 and 3,000, but really it's not a good idea to buy any peeled fruit in Cambodia because no gloves, unhygienic, nothing is washed, and he just sits on the roadside stall here selling them all day long. And now he'll start lining them up, taking out the black outer seeds or what's left of the skin of the pineapple. And you left them with like this. And it's got no gloves or and not very hygienic. They look good, but it's just better to buy the whole pineapple and take it home and do it yourself. You know, there's nothing involved in just taking the outer layer off the pineapple and eating it yourself. Then you know it's it's done in hygienic conditions. But the difference between a pineapple like that is cheaper than buying it like that. So at least when you buy it, you know that it's, you know, and the yellower the pineapple, the more juice it is, the more green it's got. So you can see that one here, it's got lots of yellow, so it'll have lots of juice in it. This one here has got a bit of green in it, so it won't be as sweet as the full yellow one if you're not used to what pineapples look like or taste like. So if you're buying pineapples, get the ones that are completely yellow. They'll be nice and sweet. Ones with a bit of green on are not quite right yet. And then they sell the watermelons. The watermelons, these are called dragon fruit. They come in red, yellow and white. So they're the white ones over there. I'm talking about the flesh inside. The flesh inside can be red, white or yellow, but that particular one there is white. And then they pick their mangoes green. They like green mangoes. They like them hard, they don't like them yellow and soft. So, you know, these mangoes here get hard as concrete, but that's the way they eat them, with chili, rather than let them ripen and going yellow. So my advice is, you know, never buy these ones here. Just buy one that hasn't been peeled. Here's the shellfish that are cooked in the poverty villages that I do, and they're sitting in the all day sun, and never ever eat these. You know, food poisoning for Westerners, so never ever eat these if you see them on the streets. I've done lots of videos on this type of food, this cheap street food, and it's shellfish, and it sits in the full day sun day after day after day, and they just keep on adding MSG and different chemicals and chilies to, you know, get rid of the smell and to make it taste better. But if you're a Westerner, you'll get, you know, very ill eating these. So keep away from cheap street food. Then you have this right throughout Phnom Penh and Cambodia. You know, if you're an electrician, it's a nightmare. There's literally, you know, hundreds, sometimes thousands of individual electricity and Wi-Fi cables, internet cables all going to the houses. And if you get cheap accommodation with free Wi-Fi, you don't get your own cable. They just splice into an existing cable, and you're sharing your Wi-Fi and your internet with, you know, maybe 10, 12, 15 other people. And that's why you get very, very low speed. But for the, you know, apartments worth 450 to 500, you know, above 450, most modern apartments have their own, you know, internet cable, Wi-Fi cable coming direct through to their apartment complex. It hasn't been spliced into another cable like they do up here. Just another electrician's nightmare. If you're from Western country looking at this and you're an electrician or know anything about electricity and Wi-Fi, internet, you can see the, you know, you'd be totally lost here. Here's another pole. Where would you start? Absolute nightmare. They're all the same. Here's another. Oh, if you're an electrician with years of experience, where on earth would you start if there was a fault anywhere? If you're a Westerner, it's an electrician's nightmare. Another electrical nightmare. Where would you start? Where would you end? If you're an electrician living in the Western country, you'd have a nightmare looking at that. There's a new beer being made in Cambodia and it's called crud. A terrible name for a beer made in Cambodia, but they call it crud. I think they called Kevin Crud when he was Prime Minister in Australia a few years ago. But with all beers made in Cambodia, under the tier tab they have, you know, prizes. So whatever you're buying, Cambodia beer, Anchor beer, or this new beer called crud, look at your tier tabs. Because see, these are some of the prizes under it. So you got 5, 10, 25, you got $1,000, 500, 250, 100, 5, 10, 25, $50. And the wonder is like 50 real, 100 real, 250 real, 100, 200. So if they haven't got a number on them, they're just blank, then you haven't won a prize. But if you get Cambodia beer, Anchor beer, or buy this new crud beer, always look under the tier tab. And if you buy it from a restaurant, ask them not to open the can or the bottle. You want it unopened, because there could be a prize under it and they keep it, not you. So when buying beer at a restaurant or wherever you go, ask it, you don't want it to be opened up, left unopened. So you can see if you won one of these prizes. So it's called crud. I haven't tried it myself. It's new. So if you come into Cambodia, try it. But they've all got these prizes underneath the tier tab. A little lane in the middle of Phnom Penh city. Doing the dishes, washing. You know, it's a really old part of Phnom Penh. You can see the modern buildings in the background encroaching onto this area here. And in a few years' time it'll be, you know, pulled down and new buildings and apartments built, but you know, people been living here for hundreds of years in these little laneways. Now this is where people cook their food they sell on the streets in these little side alleyways. You know, and hygiene isn't number one. You know, they just use normal cold water to wash everything. Hello. There you got some, you know, this young lady's doing chilies. She would be doing this like, you know, 12-14 hours a day. Cuts the stalks off and they sell them on the streets. Then you've got more little alleyways going off the alleyways. There's, you know, literally thousands of tiny alleyways just like this, you know, in Phnom Penh, just away from the, you know, where the tourists normally go. You got all their washing hanging up. Then you've got these, you know, little alleyways. There's thousands of them right throughout Phnom Penh that the tourists never ever see. You know, the stairs lead up to, you know, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th floor, and these are just single rooms in here with a steel door that the girls rent or families rent for $20–25 a month. And you can see, you know, how old they are, really old, you know. These are little laneways here. When they leave for work, they, you know, padlock their little rooms. So all these are just little single rooms. And the only ventilation, they just have those up top there. That's the ventilation, that's it. So there's obviously someone in there because there's no padlock on the door. They're just single rooms. Then you have more washing, and then you have, you know, meat drying in the sun all covered in flies. You know, this is all they, you know, this is all they know. So this is Mystery Cambodia signing off from Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and I'll leave comments down below and my WhatsApp contact details, so if you want to know any more about this video or other videos, about Phnom Penh or Cambodia, just leave me a WhatsApp message or a message on YouTube and I'll get back to you. So hope you enjoyed this video, and it's really a warning on eating cheap street food for Westerners coming to Cambodia. So, and I've just added a few electrical nightmares for those electricians or know anything about electricity. This is on every corner. So this is Mystery Cambodia signing off from Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Thank you. Please like, subscribe and share. Thank you.